Hello, Canonical team. This is Rodrigo Sebem. Today is the 28th of July 2024. During the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'll be presenting to you Canonical's Charmed Kubernetes as part of my SDR position hiring process. I'll be talking to you no longer than 15 minutes about Kubernetes. So, beginning with the basics, what is Kubernetes? Then we're going over the advantages and why are companies interested in Kubernetes. Later, we'll be talking about the ideal customer persona. And finally, I'll be making a charmed Kubernetes sales pitch. So, what is Kubernetes? It's an open source platform or software that automates the deployment, scaling, availability, and networking of workloads or applications. It is based on Google's proprietary project called Borg, which is a large scale cluster manager project. In 2014, Google released Kubernetes based on Borg as open source. In 2018, it handed full operation of Kubernetes to the community via the Linux Foundation. Today, it's maintained by the CNCF, which is the Cloud Native Computing Foundation. It is a foundation that helped and managed by more than 400 companies worldwide. You see in the literature or during talks about Kubernetes, its abbreviation, which is K8S. K is the first letter, S is the last letter of Kubernetes, and 8 are the 8 letters in between them. And you also see the ship's wheel, which is Kubernetes logo or symbol. So before we go into the Kubernetes structure itself, let's take a look in the software deployment evolution. Early on, companies ran their applications on physical servers only. So they had multiple applications in the servers. And with that, they had allocation issues. For example, you had one application taking most of the resources and the other ones underperforming. You could solve this by running multiple servers, but that costed a lot of money. Then, later on, we began the virtualized deployment era, developed in the 1960s, but widely adopted during the 2000s. Each virtual machine, the VM, is a full machine running all the components including the operating system, on top of the virtualized hardware. So we have one physical server and you have multiple operating systems with its own applications, and this is called virtualization. With that, you have better resource allocation than the traditional deployment era, and much better security because one VM cannot communicate with the other one. So we have these boundaries. And finally, we ran into the container deployment era. That's where Kubernetes came. That's also called operating system level virtualization because you have the containers, which also contain the pods with the apps, and they work independently, but they all share the same operating system. That is much more lightweight and efficient than the previous deployment strategies. Okay, so this is a very simplified diagram to explain to you Kubernetes architecture. First of all, you have the cluster. The cluster is the whole thing, is what you get when you deploy Kubernetes. It is composed by the nodes, the working nodes, you see to the right, and the master node, you see to the left, which is called the control plane. Each node, master or worker node, is a physical or virtual machine. The worker nodes, they contain the pods. which are the smallest deployable units in Kubernetes architecture. Each pod hosts, in turn, the containers. Containers, they are software packages, including the code and runtime for the software, and everything necessary to run the application. So they are portable, and we'll see later why this is important. So to the right, you see the worker nodes and the control plane to the left. Control plane is the orchestration layer. It's the manager of the pod's life cycle. So why are companies interested in Kubernetes? When their technology leaders understand the advantages, they become interested. First of all, Kubernetes are scalable. They respond quickly and automatically to changes in demand, scaling your applications up or down. Kubernetes is efficient. It uses and optimizes the usage of your current infrastructure and thus makes your operation more cost effective for your company. It is disaster proof. For example, if an application or a set of applications is killed or dies, your master node, your control plane, will automatically schedule and replace that pod and applications to keep system running up. Kubernetes, as we said before, is portable. It deploys and manages applications regardless of your infrastructure. It doesn't care if it's on premises, in a public cloud, or a hybrid environment. And last but not least, it's totally available. You can make updates, rollouts in your software, in your applications with no downtime. That means it's always running, up and running. So now that we've been through the basics and concepts of Kubernetes, let's go into the Canonical's Charm Kubernetes business itself. So who's the ideal customer persona for the product? It should be a medium to large company, enterprise. Why not the small companies? Because mostly they ain't gonna need it, the technology, and they cannot afford it. They do not have the budget necessary to buy or to maintain the product. A medium to large enterprise that's experiencing growth, growth in size, in customers, in data flow, of course. And with that, you have frequent software updates, new versions, surges of data requests, and that causes this medium to large enterprise who's growing to have frequent downtimes, and if they rely on public clouds, raising cloud costs. And on top of that, you add inexperienced IT team or insufficient internal IT team, and they do not have time or experience to manage the infrastructure in the way the company needs with this growth rate. So Canonical's charmed Kubernetes will kill all their problems. First of all, if they have the budget, they start having no downtimes. They can make as many updates and rollouts they want automatically, and their internal team will have all the time they need to dedicate themselves to developing and not running the infrastructure. So our team just identified a lead downloading Kubernetes content from our website, Canonical's website, and I'm about to call him now. His name is Manuel. Good morning, Manuel. This is Rodrigo from Canonical, the publisher of Ubuntu. How are you doing today? Good, me too. Manuel, I noticed you downloaded Kubernetes content from our platform, and I'm reaching out to understand what your needs are and to try to help you find the best solution. Do you have 5 minutes? Okay, great. So, can you tell me a bit more what's going on and about your company itself? Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, just to make sure we are on the same page here, you work for a startup in Portugal and you have a telemedicine platform that experienced a 500% growth during the last 6 months, but you're also having a spike in cloud costs and a decreased user satisfaction with frequent downsizes and connection problems, right? Okay. So, what kind of infrastructure do you have today in your company? Hmm. All right. And so, in order I can help you a little bit more, what's your total budget today for cloud computing? Okay. All right, Manuel. So I'm happy to say Canonical has the right solution for you. With Charmed Kubernetes, we can deploy a full solution for your company in a hybrid cloud using your current infrastructure and public clouds. During this migration from your current status to our Charm Kubernetes solution, you have no downtimes because the platform is fully available. And you also have the chance to train with our team so you can operate the Kubernetes platform later with no extra training costs. Okay, so if you even want us to manage the platform later for you, so you can focus on the development of your new resources, your updates, that's okay. We can do it for you. And it will cost even less than you're currently paying for cloud costs today. How does it look? Good. Okay. So, can we schedule another meeting for maybe 3 to 4 days? Okay. So I'll put in contact with one person from our engineering team and feel free if you want to invite anyone else from your company, okay? All right, Manuel, thank you very much for your time today and have a good day. Bye.